I got a chance to interview him a couple years back, and it's just funny the way he would like say, "Hogan knew not to mess with me. That this guy knew not to mess with me. Vader knew, or actually Vader didn't know. Then he found out not to mess with him. Just one of those guys. And obviously Hogan's a lot bigger than him, tall, taller and maybe physically, but he knew like Orndorff is one tough son of a bitch. And I'm good buddies with Kevin Sullivan. Sullivan said that's the one guy. He said him and Haku. Basically they're like the two guys. But Orndorff, he's like he always had that extra gear. Your dad always had that extra gear where it's like, okay, he's tough, he's mean, he could be nasty, maybe he could be a little tough, tough on guys, but don't push him because he'll bring it to the extra gear. I love those guys, legit tough guys, but they always have that extra gear, and he always says that about Haku and your dad.
So let me just give you a couple examples of what I've seen in my life. Him and Bobby Heenan were driving through New York. My dad had this, like, I want to say 82 Celica, and dad missed the exit. And if you know anything about Bobby Heenan, he will mess with you and poke and prod you. Well, my dad's on testosterone. Let's not kid ourselves. Dad's on testosterone. He's driving from town to town. Man, if I don't get to bed by 9 o'clock at night, I'm a wreck the next day, right? So he's doing that every night. Anyway, Bobby's messing with him. He ripped the steering wheel off the column, and he was steering the column over to the side of the road. Bobby Heenan laughing over and over, like in Dad's face. And that's the funny thing is Bobby could do it and I could do it. Dad would get so pissed, and I would just look at him and start laughing because I knew that he was, like being ridiculous, and he'd start laughing with me. And so Dad and Bobby are on the side of the road. Dad's hands are all bloody from pulling the column of so we had a Cadillac as well. I got a couple of them. We had a Cadillac as well, and my brother had done something. Anyway, he stole the keys and ran to the car. My dad grabs the door and he rips it off the hinge, like so it. The door's like a pair of, off the hinge, but like still on the bolts.
Yep.
But it was, flat with the front of the car.
Holy crap. Wow.
Front of the car. And then one time, I can't remember what happened, but okay, two more stories, promise. One was he was in the kitchen. He got some promoter didn't pay him on time or something, and he threw the phone through the microwave. And I don't mean just through the front glass, which is, by the way, like multiple pieces and a gap. He threw it through that, and you could see the dent in the back of the microwave.
Wow. Pretty impressive. So,
dude, it was very rare. It was so rare that I would see his strength, but there were times you'd go, how'd you do that? And at the same time, he had the same, he'd go out and play baseball, or, throw the baseball with me, and he had that much power, but he could also throw a knuckleball.
Wow. Look at that.
Like a really good knuckleball.
Good athlete. Yeah. Obviously, he's a really good football player, too.
Dude, he had records in the discus. He had records in the broad jump. And he had multiple track records in Florida. And I want to say a couple of them lasted until the early 2000s. And this is going back to, 1965 to 68 before he went to University of Tampa.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please help me out and like this video, then click the subscribe and get notifications buttons so you don't miss any of my latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Follow us on Facebook at the Hannibal TV for more live streams and videos. And while you're at it, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Hannibal TV.